At long last, the trailer for Stephen King's The Dark Tower has arrived on YouTube. I remain cautiously optimistic for this film, and I'm going to tell you why. I have been waiting what seems like an eternity for a Dark Tower adaptation, and now we finally almost have one. The movie comes out in August, and I'm, as I stated in the opening, cautiously optimistic for it. It seems to me, based on what I've been reading, that the fans are split almost down the middle as far as whether or not this is going to be any good. And according to rumors, this film is actually a sequel to the books. It goes without saying that there are going to be some spoilers in this video, and we are going to watch the trailer, and I'm going to analyze little bits and pieces of it and go over what I liked in the trailer and what has me concerned. And then after we're done doing that, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. And I think you all know what that is. But we'll get to that at the end, so let's start by having a look at the trailer, and I'm going to pause it at various points and go over the various things that are in it. So let's give it a go.
For thousands of generations.
So right off the bat, we're greeted with a scene which looks like it's set in Midworld. There's some kind of a facility or buildings up on the mountain. I'm presuming that belong to the old ones. The old ones in the books were, a precursor race or a group of people. And down in the valley here, we have a small town. It looks like that might be Tull, or at least that's what I'm suspecting, because the area looks like it's a desert maybe. So let's continue on.
Gunslingers were knights, sworn to protect us from the coming of the dark.
These visions, as you call them.
What do you see?
I see a tower, the man in black, and the gunslinger.
When I saw this part in the trailer, I instantly thought of the first line in the first book. The man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. Now, I've got my fingers crossed that they start the film that way. Because honestly, if they start it, with any other thing, with narration or, whatever else, it's going to be really silly. They should start with just this scene, maybe no narration, just show Roland walking across the desert. That's really the way to start it.
They're just dreams. They're not real, Jake.
For those of you with sharp eyes, yes, that is the Overlook Hotel from The Shining, the exact one. It shouldn't be any surprise that this movie's going to make references to King's other works.
There's another world out there. I know.
So I get the feeling like this is going to be a major difference from the books. Jake is obviously in the same house that he was in the Wastelands, and it's been years since I've read the books, so forgive me, but in the Wastelands he finds a door and Eddie helps him pass through to Midworld for the last time. It looks like in the movie he just stumbles across a portal that leads there. You'll see later on in the trailer the Plaster Man shows up, but I mean, this is a major change. I guess I'm all for it. I'll have to see how it plays out in the film.
There is.
Okay, real quick, this is the part where Jake arrives in Midworld, obviously, and you got the two moons in the background. I really like this because Midworld is a strange place when compared to our reality, and King never really goes into detail, as far as I can recall, about the celestial bodies that orbit Midworld, but considering how the Dark Tower is the hub of space and time, and it's starting to fail, and reality is starting to overlap with other realities, it kind of makes sense that something like that would be, on the horizon, so that's cool.
Whoa.
Who are you?
It's you. You're a gunslinger, right?
There are no gunslingers. Not anymore.
Why does the man in black want to destroy the tower?
The tower protects both our worlds.
Okay, I want to address what Roland just said and what we're seeing visually here. First of all, the Dark Tower doesn't protect both worlds. The Dark Tower is the center of space and time and reality and the universe and all the universes. So it protects a lot more than just two worlds. So this part has me concerned. I'm really hoping that they don't futz that up, because the Dark Tower is supposed to be the center of all reality itself, or more specifically, all of King's work. This piece that we see here in the trailer with all the beams intersecting and the tower crumbling, that visually looks really cool. It looks like it probably would look in the book. I'm thinking this is probably a vision they're having, since if the Dark Tower ever collapsed, basically reality would unravel itself. Once again, it has been years since I've read the series. I'm due to reread it again, so if I'm messing this up, feel free to correct me in the comments. But yeah, I think this is probably a vision that they have, or a nightmare.
If it falls, hell will be unleashed.
He's like the devil, isn't he?
No, he's worse.
Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black, also known as Walter O'Dim, also known as Walter Paddock, also known as the Ageless Stranger, also known as Randall Flagg. This villain has shown up more times in King's work than that poster of the tennis girl scratching her butt. I literally just pulled that out of thin air. I had to write that down. I'm not concerned in the least bit about Matthew McConaughey playing this character. I think he'll do a fine job. And just remember, Randall Flagg can look like anything or anyone he wants. He's that powerful of a sorcerer, so that'll be cool.
You can't stop what's coming.
So right here, these guys actually look like they're slow mutants. The slow mutants in the first Dark Tower book, as I recall, weren't very intelligent. They were slow. They didn't have much in the way of weapons. They just kind of tried to drag Jake and Roland off into the darkness. These guys look like the slow mutants that were in that short story he wrote, The Little Sisters of Illyria, because the slow mutants in that were a little better organized and they had weapons. And as you can see, these guys have what looks like salvaged bits of equipment and gear, so that looks pretty cool.
Death always wins.
Your world might be gone.
Yes, that says Pennywise in the background. I'm presuming this is Midworld, since it's all ruined and fucked up, but that should come as no surprise, and hopefully they make plenty of allusions or references to King's other works, so that's cool.
But mine isn't. If you let that tower fall, billions of people die.
Do they have guns and bullets in your world?
You're gonna like Earth a lot.
All right, let's go.
You clawing your...
So Roland ends up in our world, obviously, and this does happen in the books. For whatever reason, this has me worried. I don't know what purpose this serves in the movie. Obviously, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. But for whatever reason, this has me concerned that the bulk of the movie is going to take place in our world for the sake of it being easier for the audience to understand and relate to. I hope they don't go down that road. You know, the only way we're going to be able to tell is when the movie comes out. I'd hate to think that they dumb it down and just do that to make it seem more familiar to us. That would really suck.
Way out of the darkness. Did you tell the kid whoever walks with you dies by my hand?
I will kill him for both of us. I do not aim at my hand.
Alright, that was fucking badass. For two reasons. One, he's reciting the Gunslinger's Creed. And two, the way he loaded that fucking sandalwood gun is fucking awesome. That kicks major ass. There's going to be a part in a little bit in the trailer where they show him reloading them again. He reloads both guns at the same time. I think that's kind of over the top and stupid for reasons I'll go into when that arrives. But if you look right here, you can actually see the sigil of the rose on the side of the gun, so that's pretty cool.
His hand has forgotten the face of his father.
Elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. I'm not ready to discuss it yet, but we're getting close. We are going to talk about it.
I aim with my eye. I do not shoot with my hand. I shoot with my mind.
What the fuck was that? I got mixed feelings about the way he just reloaded his guns. I mean, it's flashy, it's over the top, it doesn't make much sense. Like, why would he reload them that way? You know, it seems like it's being flashy for the sake of being flashy. It looks cool, but I think it would take me out of the moment. I don't know what context that's in, I haven't seen the movie, but that has me worried. This is the best part of the trailer, so brace yourself and hold on to your shit.
I do not kill with my gun.
And that was the look on my face when I saw that happen in the trailer. That was fucking awesome.
I kill with my heart.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Dark Tower trailer. I really think the trailer's cool. I have, as I said, cautious optimism for the movie. The casting is fine. We'll get into that in a minute because we're about to talk about the elephant in the room. Visually, the movie looks amazing. My biggest concern with the film is that they're trying to cram too much into 2 hours. That's my biggest gripe. This is a 7 or 8 book series, and to cram everything into 2 hours or to try to is going to be a fucking disaster. This would have been better served being a TV show or a mini series because there's just so much material to cover. There's no fucking way they're going to do it in 2 hours. We'll see. I mean, apparently they have plans to continue it based on how well the movie goes. So let's keep our fingers crossed that that turns out to be really cool. Now it's time, my friends, to talk about the elephant in the room. And you all know what that means. This is the single biggest thing that I think everyone is divided on, and people are throwing their hands up in the air about it, and I'm going to weigh in on it, and I'm kind of doing this off the cuff. There's no real script to this, so I'm just going to kind of pour my thoughts out there, and I'm sure the comment section of this video is about to set itself on fire. So without further ado, let's talk about the casting of Roland. Roland is black in the movie, and he's supposed to be white. Yes. Apparently, everyone is really freaking out over this. It is a big change, that's for sure. Roland, on the covers of the books, at various points in the story, is absolutely, a Caucasian, or he's white, whatever you want to fucking call it. So that is a major change. At one point during the drawing of the 3, a main character by the name of Odetta Holmes is pulled into Roland's world. She's a amputee, a female African-American amputee who's missing her legs. She's wheelchair bound. And she has split personalities. I'm not going to go too much into the character. If you're watching this, then you're probably familiar with it. But the problem that presents itself is that Odetta's alternate personality, Detta Walker, who is, violent and, abusive, etc. She starts calling Roland and Eddie, who's there on the beach, he's another main character, honky maffas, and, it's a racially charged scene. She has hallucinations of Eddie and Roland teasing her, refusing to share their food with her. She thinks that they're out to get her. She thinks that they're, abusive, racist white boys. So that is an important scene in the book. But I want to point out that it's a very minor and small scene. I know a lot of you are about to get your fucking torches out and light me on fire here, but just hear me out. In a 7-book epic like The Dark Tower, that scene is fucking tiny. That's like one section of the drawing of the 3. And it's important, don't get me wrong. But guess what? It's not going to go down that way in the movie if they ever bring her in. I don't think Susanna, that's what Odetta and Detta Walker turn into. She becomes Susanna Dean later. For those of you that are watching this that haven't read the books. I think that they can do something else with that scene. Detta Walker can call Roland an Uncle Tom, or she can, call him a race traitor or something like that. I think there's other ways that they can, make that scene, and, they can deal with the issue of race, and, I think they can still pull it off and it really doesn't matter that Roland's black. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. I think out of all the things in this trailer that have me concerned, the race of the main character is really, it's a minor one. He looks completely different. But the other thing you got to take into account is that the Dark Tower inhabits multiple realities. So just view this as, a different reality. I know that a lot of the fans are upset about it. Your opinions are valid. I mean, it is a valid point that scene is important and that, it's not going to play out even remotely the same. Somebody I know will call her the Bone Collector. She knows who she is. She thinks this movie is going to be a hot mess. I kind of agree with her. I can't discount her opinion because her reasons for thinking so are right up there with mine. I think that they're trying to cram too much into too short a span of time. But when it comes to that one scene that everybody's complaining about, who fucking cares? Who cares if it's even in the movie? I mean, it's important, but out of all the things that people are concerned about, that's super minor. It's across a 7-book epic, that one part in the 3rd book, I don't even care if it's even in the movie. It's so unimportant. And they could do something different with it. Detta Walker was out of her fucking mind insane. She could hallucinate Roland as being white. I mean, there's a way around it. She was picturing them getting torn to pieces by the Lobstrosities. There were these mutant things on the beach, and she was, having these paranoid delusions that Eddie and Roland were out to get her. They could do so much with that scene, and I think it's, out on the horizon as far as this franchise is concerned. And it's really not something we should be, that much concerned with, I don't think, at this point. So there you guys have it. That's my 2 bits on the Dark Tower trailer, as well as the casting decisions they've made and some of the fallout surrounding that. To summarize, I have concerns for the movie, but I'm going to go into it with an open mind, and I really don't care that Roland's black. I think Idris Elba's a badass. He was great in Luther. He was great in Prometheus. He was arguably the only character I cared about in Prometheus, but that's a discussion for another time. So what do you guys think of the trailer? I've been reading, bits here and there, but I'm kind of interested in what my subscribers think. So feel free to comment below, and, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I will review the movie when it comes out, and of course I'm going to go to the theaters to see it because I'm that much of a fan. So if you like this video, click the like button. If you disagree with me or you disliked it, the dislike button is right next to it. As always, my name has been Noise Code. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.